So if you can't tell, here in the Empire of Rust, we really have an affinity for swap meets. You know, finding those diamonds in the rough type deals on things. Now I might be crazy, but for some reason I just really like going to swap meets. It's kind of the thrill of the hunt, the satisfaction of maybe getting a deal on something. It's also kind of, buying stuff off of other like-minded people that might have something you're interested in. Sometimes it's actually saving something from the junk pile, from going to the scrapyard. You see something that was going to be, trashed essentially, and you end up finding it and putting it back into service. You have fun haggling with people, trying to make a deal, bundle stuff together. Although nowadays, people watch too many shows like Pickers or whatever, and everybody tries to be a master haggler. Now, it seems like I somehow gravitate more towards buying than selling, but I do sell stuff occasionally when I have to, and I enjoy that as well. You always get some people that are just idiots, but for the most part, you always have a good time trying to sell stuff and dealing with people that are, looking for their new project, needing some parts, that type of deal. And the best parts swap meets for me are always the ones that have an eclectic amount of junk, other than the specified product for that swap meet. Like you go to an automotive swap meet and you buy chainsaws. That's what I like, seeing the random crap. Some people don't like that. They want to go to a car swap meet. They want to see car parts. That's it. I mean, I like seeing the majority of stuff maybe be what the desired, product is. But heck, it keeps it interesting. I mean, you always end up going to these swap meets and you come home with something that you didn't even know existed or didn't know you need until you were there. And that's the most memorable stuff it seems like you end up finding. I mean, yeah, if you were seeking out a specific part, that's cool. But I'll take that oddball stuff any day. So the stuff is quickly piling up. See, this is when the good deals come around. Just picking them out of the trash. Windstorms are good for the scrapping business. Yep. Jackpot. So you see the shop is filling up with a lot of stuff, which seems to happen more often than not. This time though, it's because of the swap meet season. Now I'm a bit of a junkie when it comes to these type of things, so all these parts kind of accumulate. And to start off with going through all these spoils of war, this is something that I usually don't appreciate, which is shininess. But it's a grill for one of my Dodges, which the framework underneath, it's rotting away on mine, and the whole grill is kind of, doing the shimmy in the wind. Now you can see there's some rust holes here, but that ain't nothing. We can fill that in with some grease, and it'll be good for a lot more years yet. It even came with the sweet bug deflector, which the truck originally had back in the 90s. It broke and flew away a long time ago, so heck, we might as well put this thing back on there for nostalgia's sake. Next contestant was a total impulse buy. Now I have absolutely no need for a racing seat right now. I don't think any of my vehicles are ever fast enough to qualify for needing one. But you know what those sales guys say, now's the time to buy. So when this thing came up at a price that I couldn't walk away from it, 7 o'clock at night, by golly, we own a race seat now. Now something pretty cool is, for a race seat, this thing has a lot of adjustments on it. It's got slider, there's a roller in the back where you can kind of, change the tilt forward and back. It came with the belts. I'm sure there's probably some date that they're no longer valid, but heck, they look cool. Ah, well look at that. Honda Prelude. Wow, that's steel. We can make it fit anything. Yeah, there's the welder right now, ready to go. Now we come to this little goodie. I don't know what it's for, or where it came from, or what era, but, that type of plastic with that logo, I'm guessing this is possibly maybe late 60s? I don't know. Who knows? Apparently it hangs on something, like a saddlebag type setup. Not 100% sure. Now, I haven't found any numbers on it. Not yet anyways. But it's clean inside. And I bet you the outside would shine up pretty well too. So, anybody knows what this thing is, let me know. And speaking of cool old stuff, this was the next purchase. This is a brand new, never used propane cook stove. Now, when I see they were advertising it, it was outside of the box, and you could see all that shiny paint. That's what got me. Ooh yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's almost too good to use, but it wasn't that expensive, so we're gonna put it in the service. That's pretty awesome. Still got all the original documentation. There's the little adapters, I guess, for the propane tanks. Oh man, you gotta love that retro advertising. Well, it might have came with a couple of propane tanks, but they seem to be missing. Well, that was a ripoff. Not a whole lot to these. Just one very tiny jet on the end here, and that just plugs into that port. And there you go. You got a burner on each side. And it looks like, unfortunately, you got to run 2 tanks, which I guess I should have done my research and looked up the Amazon reviews on this before I got it. As you know, I'm a huge fan of stocking up on inventory prior to actually needing it. This is one of those purchases. We've got some hydraulic control valves here. Now, I mean, they're slightly broken, so the valve doesn't actuate, but we can either replace that part or we'll fix something to make them work. But the expensive bits are inside, so heck, we got these. We got some cylinders here. Don't worry, I have other cylinders I've somehow started accumulating recently. Don't know how, but you know, we're going to be stocked up when the time arrives that we need these type of, you know, pieces for projects. Now this is old school. Got an old jerry can here, and I actually was looking at a couple of them. You know, I have a ton of other gas cans, old cans, round cans, collector's cans, but I try to use everything I actually have because nothing I have is actually perfect. But it's, you know, it's a driver quality, you could say. So anyways, I start looking at this can. It has the different opening, I guess. I don't know what national, I don't know if this is US or some other foreign type of jerry can. I got to read up on them. But it's got the coating on the inside, and it actually is surprisingly clean down in there. I don't see any rust in the bottom. So that was kind of neat. It's going to need a new gasket on the underside. I'm sure they make reproduction gaskets for these. But what sold me on it was the date. 1945. So man, that's going back there a little ways. I think we cleaned this thing up a little bit. Not sure if I'm going to paint it or not. If that's original color, you know, we'll just kind of clean it up, oil it or something, and put it back into service. As usual, a couple more chainsaws found their way into the shop. First up's another ProMac 1010. I went years without getting too many McCullochs. Now I seem to, you know, they're growing here. But as you can see, this is a fine specimen of unrestored quality. Yeah, she's rough, but surprisingly enough, it did pop and kind of run over. I ran it and it started acting like it was running out of fuel, but it's full of fuel, so we'll have to go through that. That handle is heavy, and when the thing kicks back, you gotta watch because that thing will start swinging, and yeah, that's not cool if it hits you. Chain needs tensioned. Next up, we got a Parts Steel 026. I like these saws. I've got actually a couple of them that I've used over the years, and this one's really good at leaking gas all over you when you carry it because the well, I was gonna say the little breather was kind of loose. It's really loose now, but it rolls over with like good compression. Doesn't have a carburetor, missing some pieces, but you know, so is everybody. So we'll get that figured out. Probably have to surf eBay, try and get a back cover and all that. But not terrible overall. At least we'll probably find out after we put some money into it. And now for this thing. It's an Echo, like, sickle bar. I guess it's a hedge trimmer. But believe me, I don't enjoy doing yard work, so that's not what this is for. What it is for, future project potential. It's got this little tiny motor on here. And I'm guessing it has a gear reduction, and it's probably got, you know, a reciprocating part with some cams, which we don't really need, but I'm sure there's probably somehow, some way down the line we can repurpose this. I mean, the price was right, sorta, maybe, who knows, but it was 20 bucks. And that seemed to be the recurring theme of most of the crap I bought this weekend. That was 20 bucks, that was 20 bucks. That was 20 bucks. I don't know if I overpaid on that, but I was blinded by the cool factor. That was not 20 bucks. However, this thing was. Got me a new snowmobile and ATV jack. We're moving up in the world with technology, let me tell you. Oh yeah, and I also bought a bunch of barrel transfer pumps. Not sure if they work. This one appears to be seized up. The others kind of work, but those were under 20 bucks, don't worry. Oh yeah, and this boat seat was free. I mean, it might have been run over once, but you know, it happens. Oh yeah, almost forgot about this one. This unfortunately wasn't 20 bucks, slightly over that, but it's a heck of a gear puller, man. I mean, that's a monster. And it's old school. It's built heavy and looks like it's made out of quality material, so you'd have a tough time trying to find and source one of these days. Also got a sweet patriotic sticker. Came from Ames back in the day.
See, you can run next year too.
Oh, heck yeah, man. We're in the skid loader division. Oh yeah. Come on, New Holland.
Or John Deere.
Oh, yeah, well, same thing. Wait till that turbo spools in. Aerodynamics.
Stick your leg out.